Test, test. Are we good? Are we good? Awesome. So I'm William Compton. Sorry, there you go. I'm William Compton. I am actually running against Brett Guthrie for U.S. House, and I am here with all the people in Meade County and the surrounding areas to let Brett Guthrie, Andy Barr, and every member of Congress know that we are not happy with what they've passed in Washington in the House, and we hope the Senate does not pass this bill.
Okay, what do you not like about the bill? What is your biggest objection to the bill?
My biggest objection are all the cuts to health care. I mean, we've seen over $700 billion cuts to Medicaid, which would affect over 325,000 people in the state of Kentucky alone. And so
350,000, but 59,000 of them are eligible workers. So what's your stance on the eligible worker? If you're able to work, you should be able to work or not?
A lot of people on Medicaid and Medicare both are working. My parents growing up, they worked. They both had full-time jobs. One is a nurse, one was self-employed, working 50 plus hours a week. And we still had Medicaid for myself and my sister growing up.
So there are people that are able to work, but they're not working. The 59,000 in Kentucky.
I mean, they can work. They can work, but there's no reason why we should deny anybody health care, access to health care.
Do you think that the bill is denying access to health care or denying access to Medicaid?
Denying access to Medicaid and Medicare, so health care all the way around.
Okay. And then you said you're running
against Brett Guthrie.
That's next year.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you'll be running in the primary. Do you have any opposition in the Democratic Party for the primary, or are you the only candidate?
I do have opposition in the primary at the moment, but I'm the only one who's out here with the people.
I got you. And who is this group and where are they from?
This group is just a collection of people all around Meade County, all around through the 2nd Congressional District. Yes.
And then what else is on the Democratic mind as far as what's wrong with what's going on in legislation outside of the medical? What else is in the big bill that's a bother for that we can't see eye to eye on? What is the bridge?
The other biggest issue is the fact that it gives the administration authority to pretty much ignore the court orders and to come back at them with penalties if they try and fight back legislation that's not correct.
Can you be specific on which ones that's happening to?
It gives a clause in there that says that they would have to pay a penalty if they come back with the Supreme Court.
Right.
Sorry, yeah.
Who's they? Who's they?
The justice system.
The justice system?
Yes.
All right. So do it one more time from the beginning. So
there's a clause in there that says the justice system, if they try and fight back with anything unconstitutional, that they can be penalized with a fine.
Okay. And why is that important for people to know?
People need to know that because our justice system is a check and balance to both branches of the other branches of the government. Okay. And putting a fine on them is effectively getting rid of that checks and balance. Okay. That helps make our democracy.
So what else is a concern that's coming out of the bill for the Democratic Party?
Those
we can't get to middle ground.
Those are the two biggest concerns. I know we're also worried about SNAP benefits being cut as well, which would hurt so many children across Kentucky and America as well.
Okay. How do you know what the impacts would be to Kentucky?
I don't know the exact impacts just yet. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. We'll look into that and try to find that answer too. Anything else that you want to talk about? I'm putting it on the platform.
Yeah. So the biggest thing is Brett Guthrie has been up there since 2009, and it's time we need a change. We need someone who's actually going to be out here with the people and stand with them and listen to them and voice them. I know people have been asking Brett Guthrie to do public town halls for a long time, and he has ignored every single request, and I've already held 3 across the district.
So if I put on a town hall and invited Brett Guthrie, would there be a packed house because I did a debate one time for the Messenger, had candidates who were running, and I brought them up on the stage at the school. You know how many people showed up? Like 12. And it was a debate for a candidacy for a primary. I would be more than glad to do that for Democratic Party, Republican Party, both Republican and Democratic candidates in races. I'd be glad to host those. But how do we get the turnout to actually the participants besides people that you always see regularly show up?
You just have to make sure to advertise it regularly on all different sorts of media, radio, the TV, even billboards if you need to. Anything that anyone gets media from.
Okay. Right now it's the radio and the newspaper for Meade County and
Yeah.
social media. Do you think that the social media is fair to people in social media today, or do you think it's unfair?
It's a double-edged sword. It can be a good, useful tool. I'm a public school teacher, so it can be helpful for everybody, but it also can be harmful as well. So, like with anything, with moderation.
Okay, I got it. What do you hope to achieve today by the showing of the Democratic Party here today? What do you hope for people to learn from today's protest?
So I do want to say this isn't put on by the Democratic Party. This is just put on from people all across the 2nd District. I do want to point that out first. But we do want to make sure that Representative Guthrie, Representative Barr, and everyone that's here tonight hears our voices and actually will come out to the communities and speak to people, which they haven't been doing.
All right. I had Brett Guthrie on a podcast today. We asked him all those questions that were posed on our website that came out from social media. Did you get to watch the podcast today and see any of his responses?
I have not. I've been driving all day.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well, I'd encourage you to go take a look.
I sure will.
No, we did ask the questions that you guys asked, and then we did some fact checking on some of the facts and the numbers for what that impact is for Kentucky too. So, yes, there will be people. I think anytime there's legislation, people will be impacted. As far
Yeah.
as I'm older, what do we need to do today to get to middle ground between both parties so we can actually legislate laws and activity, because there's such a divide. How do we get that back together where we can have a conversation like we're doing right now?
Yeah.
And then talk about things that matter to people and their food on the table and all that other stuff.
Well, you just hit the nail on the head. We need to get back to what is affecting everybody's everyday lives. The food on the tables, those kitchen table issues that are not tearing our country apart. That's how we need to be respectful in the conversation. You and I can disagree, or we can disagree all day long, but we're respectful and we're having that conversation, and that's what we need to be having, and we haven't seen that.
Yes, sir. Okay. Well, I don't have any other questions. Anything else you want to mention or talk about that I can capture and piece all this together and then slap it up on social media?
I've already mentioned I was running. I'm good, yeah.
You're good. Shameless plug.
Yeah. So my name is William Compton, and I'm running for U.S. House against Brett Guthrie.
Okay, awesome.